So this is a little bit of a impromptu video. Your boy just built his first PC. I'm gonna show you guys the parts list. So this is pretty much with there's a few changes and a few additions, and of course this addition would, well in this case the addition would be another storage that basically is the P3 Plus that you'll see in the pictures or in the video, in the top, whatever you want to call it. But pretty much everything else is still the same. And I didn't add like my monitor or any other accessories. Like I didn't add that to the cost. But if you look at the price, $23.63, I did not pay that. I paid actually about $400 to $500 less. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. The GPU jumped up like $220. When I bought my GPU, this thing was sitting at $800. I bought my CPU. This was at $250. The motherboard was actually like $210, $220-ish, so it wasn't $239. I believe this was down as well. It was like maybe $190 something, and that's pretty much it. I think even this went down. So when you add it all up, and these cases went down as well. They were like $14, $15. Now they're $23. So if you add up everything, as far as what I saved and all that, I saved right around what's missing from here. So I spent right around $2,000. It was a little bit under 19 for the PC itself. My budget was a little bit higher than that, but I ended up, going way below it. So this is my PC build. Let's get out of here. And this is basically the start. This isn't the start, but this is my setup. Before I added these arms and these monitors, there was a 32-inch TCL Roku TV just sitting here, and all the wires are all over the place, and it was just, and trying to edit on this laptop is terrible. It was good at first, but then it just kaput. Yeah, it couldn't hold its own no more. So I was like, you know what? I need to get a PC. Especially if I want to keep this up, if I want to start streaming and start editing videos a little bit more efficiently, I got to make a PC. I got to build a PC. So I started. The whole process took me about, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, so this is what it all started like. And then I basically just documented like, what it was like when the first package got here. And I'm over here like, okay, there we go. So now I should be able to just drag this without, So this is what was like the first day. My CPU arrived. That was the only thing that came with the package. Then the second packages that were to arrive were the little P3 Plus, that's my OS drive, and then the case fans, that not the radiator fans but the extra case fans. And then this is the third set of packages to arrive. As you can see, the CPU came, keyboard came, the actual case itself was here, the power supply came, the extra SSD that I use for everything else outside my OS was there, and then behind it you can kind of see the RAM that I use. And then we keep going, and then this is the final, like, everybody's home type thing. The only thing that was missing from that last picture to this picture was the GPU. It was a 5070 Ti. And so going through the process, I followed a video of YouTube TechSource, and basically he was saying build out the entire PC outside of the case, then test it to make sure it works. If you got any issues like a faulty motherboard, it's maybe the CPU pins or something is broke, this right here will tell you if something is wrong without you having to build it all in the case, and then you boot it up and then you find something is wrong. This kind of alleviates it gives you peace of mind that when you put this thing into the case, barring if you maybe missed a connection while putting it inside the case, or you maybe messed something up inside the case, this thing works. It's not the initial, I can't remember what this video was. Okay, yeah, it was me kind of, I guess, just walking through. I don't know, let's watch the video. All right, so I probably should have made this video, but I probably should have started recording this when I first started the process, but I got to use my phone for certain, damn, I can't talk. I should have started this recording process a lot early when I first started, essentially. But here we are, we're at this point. I'm gonna do a test boot while the motherboard and the stuff is outside the case. It's a mess right now, but I'm gonna do a test run of this once I get the power supply and stuff hooked up. This is what it looks like so far, and once I can do a test boot, make sure everything is working, then I'll put it inside of this case right here. I went with basically a black and silver it's what it came out to be. I really didn't care about the color. I just wanted to kind of keep it simple and basic. I care more about the performance than the color. But it's actually, everything is actually starting to look like it's coming together, like this black and silver accents. And everything just flowed together. I didn't expect it to flow like this, but. All right, so as you can see, what I said before the video started, I said during the video. Quick note about the PC, just a little backstory. The PC name, it was Black Panther because it's an all-black system, but I changed it the name to Kawhi Leonard. Reason being, this PC is, appearance-wise, there's nothing outstanding about it, but performance-wise, it holds its own. When you look at Kawhi Leonard's game, there's nothing flashy about it, but then you look up and the guy's got 30 points on your head. Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, so I'm calling it the Claw. Boy, if you don't. Kawhi Leonard, just a little bit of corniness just to throw out there for you guys. So let's move on to the next video where I kind of get into my first boot. Shout out to TechSource. I'm watching his video on how to basically set up your PC. I basically hooked everything up to the power supply, and I didn't expect this to happen, but dog, so much joy just went through me. Check this out. It works. Yeah, this is the boot up with the power supply, but nothing is hooked up to a monitor. So I think everything turns on. Yeah, everything turns on. Oh, this is the next video with the monitor. But this is without the monitor. This is without actually turning the power on. This is with cutting the power supply on and the motherboard lights up. Whenever I did it, I thought the fans were gonna start spinning and everything, but then I forgot you got to actually hit the power button. So anyways, this was before the jump. Now this is after the jump. Oh, this joint started up. Oh, this joint started up. Oh. Wait. Yeah, it started up. It's working. I'm not getting no signal though. But everything is running. And I hear the water. Oh. 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 Wait a second. Wait a second.
Now what we're waiting for here is any type of message on your monitor.
So you can tell by my excitement. Yeah. I was super nervous. I thought maybe I had, because this is my first time working with stuff this delicate. And this was all my money, so I wanted to make sure I didn't mess nothing up, nothing got damaged. I'll have to send it back, wait for a replacement, go through that whole customer service thing. I didn't have to worry about that. It worked. Everything out the box came good, so I didn't have to worry about that. That was a huge relief off my chest that I didn't have to worry about. Quick and huge shout out to my big brother who actually ended up coming by a little bit after I did this. Not a little bit, he came like maybe an hour or two after I did this. But when he came, I didn't really take a video of anything anymore because now we were putting it inside the case. But he came through and he's built his PC. He came through, helped me build my PC. So huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to him for coming through and helping me and giving me some more advice on how to maintain it, how to make sure I don't install no bloatware and all that crappy stuff that, you know, Windows and all that stuff be having, and how to keep my PC safe. Shout out to him for giving me that information and just being there for this experience, because this was crazy. But so this basically leads into this video where, and I'm not going to show this video, I'm just going to fast forward through it. This is me later that night, basically just hooking everything up to my monitor in my room to see how it looks, where I need to position it, and basically if it'll boot on, make sure everything that we did from the time of me jumping it to now, make sure everything is working smooth. So the first boot up, everything is plugged in, graphics card, display port is plugged in, PSU was on. Let's do it. Oh, this joint is loud. Everything is working. DP, no signal. Please check your signal connection. Nothing? Yep, here it is. Oh, it's loud. That was the first boot inside my room, and then I'm gonna get to it in this video. What is this? This is, I guess this is just, okay, so this is what it looks like. This is what it looked like the next morning after I had a whole conundrum, and I'm gonna let the video kind of explain it and go through it. All right, so the PC is finally built. I shouldn't have to touch anything inside that PC no more. I went into trouble I was up till 4 in the morning last night because I realized when setting up the BIOS, I was trying to go through the whole, I was watching YouTube videos, going through the whole thing about how to set up the fans and stuff because it was super loud. And one of the things I realized is that for my cooler, you're not gonna be able to see it, but it's a little tiny port in there that you can plug it into. You might be able to see it just a little bit right behind the RAM, right there, that goes down into the cooler. Oh wait, let me make sure I don't hit no random button. But yeah, it goes into the cooler and it kind of wraps down and goes around. So that was an all-in-one connector. So I realized, like, oh, okay, wait a second, hold on. I might want to have, I paid what I paid for this thing. I want to have full control over this. I mean, I kind of had full control with the all-in-one connector, but I wanted to control both the CPU fan pump and the radiator fan pump separate after watching a couple videos and going through some Reddit posts and articles and stuff like that. I was like, okay, it might be better to have the separate connectors so I can control more and, adjust it if need be. So I ran into a problem trying to basically get in there. So I basically had to remove the GPU, remove my RAM, basically take the case apart, set it down on its back. I had to take the pump off. And I basically had to take some alcohol. Thank the Lord that 70% still worked. I know you're supposed to use 91 or 99, but what I did was I made sure that it was thoroughly dry, thoroughly clean. I took a blow dryer and basically put it on warm. It just went up and down with it to make sure all the water and the moisture was gone. I made sure it was thoroughly clean. Both the CPU and the water pump, the bottom of the water pump, it was clean. I made sure I double, triple checked. Put it back together. First of all, I put the wire back in, and then I put it all back together, and voila, there's been no problems with my CPU so far. It's been running since about, I want to say 9 o'clock, because I turned it on, and then I'm gonna go do some other stuff. So it's been running since about 9 o'clock. There's been no problems with it. It's been running smooth. I adjusted the fan, so it's running a lot quieter than it was late last night. So this is pretty much it for me touching this PC. Now everything's gonna be about setting it up and getting the OS installed. And that's pretty much all that was left, was getting the OS installed and making sure I did everything right, getting Windows and putting it on the PC. And so I go from this to this. I'm just gonna let this kind of play out. So yeah, that is a huge change. One thing I can say from building this PC, you need to be organized. It's probably the biggest thing that will have you basically clawing your eyes out to, okay, I can do this. If you don't go into your PC build organized, it's going to cause a lot of headache. It's going to cause a lot of stress. It's going to cause a lot of what am I doing? Because these screws are small. And there's minute details to tell the difference between which one. If you don't just look closely at it, you won't be able to tell the difference. So I went into this one real excited. So I really wasn't worried about the organization. I was like, oh, I'll just worry about this later. Like, oh, okay, well, I'll be all right with finagling a little screw here and there. That was not the case. Every screw has a designated spot where it's supposed to go. And if you don't read the manuals, if you don't read the instructions that came with it, you will end up putting the screw in the wrong place, and you will end up stripping the screw, or you will end up having something come off, like how I did. I had a standoff bracket where your motherboard is supposed to go. I had that bracket come off because I put the wrong type of screw there and it got stuck. So every time I tried to screw down the motherboard to the case itself, it just kept making this click sound like it wasn't going in, like it was screwing, but it wasn't locking. So I had to take pliers and I had to take the screw and just basically screw it out. And then a couple minutes later, I ended up finding the right screw for it and ended up putting all the right screws on the motherboard so everything worked. So that's the biggest tip, is take your time. One, schedule out a whole day if you have to put a PC together, and take your time. I would say take about an hour or two to just get all your screws aligned and figure out where they go. Figure out where each set of screws go. Screws come in your individual components. Different screws come in your individual components. Majority of your screws will come with your case, and different special screws will, like I said earlier, come with individual components. So just make sure you got all your ducks in a row before you start, so that way while you're going through, you know, okay. And read your manual too. Make sure you read the instructions that they gave you, and make sure it basically lists. Mine listed exactly where each screw is supposed to go, for the motherboard, for the power supply, for this, for that. So just make sure you are paying attention to the instruction, all that stuff. Other than that, building your first PC is really fun. It's really enjoyable. And when you if you do what I did, which is jump it, or you build it all the way and then you hit that power button and you see the fans go and you hear it going, and you look on your screen and you see the BIOS load up, that's a great feeling. That's a great feeling. I still get ecstatic every single time I boot this PC up, because it's just like, I know I built it with my hands. It's a great feeling. So this was my PC experience. I'm glad to have it. I would have never been able to do a video like this with that. No way. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's a little bit impromptu, but I'm out. You guys take care.